Hello.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm going to try and actually have a meal on it later on today.
Well, welcome everybody. We have started our broadcast. Lex is a little surprised by that, but I think it's a good.
Are we still taping?
Yeah, oh. It's extemporaneous. That's what we love. So, what she was referring to. Welcome to our broadcast of As We Fall Asleep, because I still have not come up with a title, so we're gonna still consider that. But we were talking about the exercise ball that I regularly sit on
and bounce on,
and so now I'm trying to figure out how to get the mic so it's not so far away. Lean in a little bit there.
Well, then I'll fall off the ball.
Here, come in this way. So, at any rate, we're both on our exercise balls, and bringing you this broadcast today. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I think I've probably been aware of, but I stumbled across it again yesterday. And I wanted to talk about the 12, universal laws. I guess there could be 20, there could be 12, there could be 18. But
that's how universal it is. There could be any number of laws that you want, basically.
I was really fascinated by this because I think that there was a book, and I'm just going to do a quick search about this, but I think that there was a book called The Secret. Do you remember that book?
I do.
And there was this thing about the law of attraction that was in that book.
Is that what that book was about?
Well,
I think I read it. It was years ago, and I found it a little, I don't know.
I think it kind of got slammed because of how people interpreted it.
It was sort of a little bit trite, I thought. But and now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was about the law of attraction. Wasn't there also a book called The Law of Attraction? Or was that The Secret?
I don't know.
I can't remember. But anyway, it's been done by many, many, many people and many, many different cultures. And, it's the same information. I think different philosophers and different people write it a little bit differently.
You're talking about the law of attraction.
The universal laws.
So I'm just going to go back to the law of attraction because that's what
That's the one that we're talking about today, I guess.
Well, that's what triggered this particular question for me about, okay, I was listening to another podcast and then they said something about the laws of action. And so when you think about it, it has to be both of those things working together because the laws of attraction
require action.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
You can't
think it into being.
At least not at this point in our evolution. I don't think we're there yet. So I guess I wanted to just kind of talk about that and how we see that in our current life. So, for you, when you think about the law of attraction and then the law of action, what things come to mind for you?
Well, I think the law, when I think about the phrase, the law of attraction, it does kind of bring to mind things like we were talking the other day, is it's sort of, that's more the law of compensation, I guess. I get mixed up in the different laws, but the law of attraction to me is something that if you put forth positive energy, it attracts like positive energy. And I do believe the opposite too, or the same thing. Actually, it's the same idea with negative, sabotaging or hurtful energy will draw that to you as well. So that's the law of attraction in a nutshell.
And then the
law of action is part of, it's like the next step, because you can have this intention, this positive intention or energy or vision toward something or away from something. And then the next step is to do a physical action or to create physical movement, because we are living in a physical paradigm. And I think that's where we can't just, go, well, no, I'm squinching my eyes closed and I'm praying about it or thinking about it or trying to visualize it every night, and still it hasn't happened. Well, right, okay. Because some action is required as well. Physical, literal action of some sort.
So, yeah, I think for me, looking at both of those things together, the action part of it is really key, because when you think about making positive steps toward whatever goal that you've set, whether if you put out a resume, I think you have to follow up on that resume. You have to do things to push that along. But it is tricky, because there is also a school of thought that says, don't push, because if it's meant to be, that'll happen. So I think this is where the intuitive part of your being has to kind of take over and understand what are the right things for you to put into action to manifest what you want in your life. And yes, I think the first part of that is having a vision of what you want to do, and that is the law of attraction. Thinking about what you want to attract into your life, what things, what energy, not necessarily things. I would say, just kind of what is your vision, very, very loosely, and then determining what actions are going to be in support of that vision.
Yeah, what makes sense? What makes sense to help create the vision happening.
Right. So, for example, we started our gardening on the vegetable lasagna gardening. So had we just said, oh, we really want to do this, but then never got the materials to do it, right, and then just hoped that it was going to appear.
Right, and then go out every morning and nope, there's still no raised bed that had miraculously appeared.
And so I think that, when we're talking about these different laws, there are some other laws that are kind of intermingled with this. So it's interesting to me, because when you start talking about one, then another one kind of pops up. But just going back to the vegetable gardening for just a second. So, getting the materials is one thing. And then the other thing is, okay, deciding what is going to be in that bed. And then how are we going to care for that bed because if we got everything and then didn't water it so every action has to be in support of the growth of whatever the goal is. Whatever
the final vision or final, the objective is.
And it's easy to think about this is a very simple example, but if you're doing things that are not in support of that, then your outcome is not going to be what you want it to be. So if you neglect it, if you decide that, I'm not going to, or you go on vacation and forget to ask somebody to take care of it, then you're going to come back and it's going to be all burned out. So it is continuing. It's not just getting the foundation, but it's continuing to nurture that seed, those plants, and then just fostering that care and just really seeing how far it can go and how far it can grow. It's been, for me, very exciting to see my little garlic bulbs pop up and do stuff, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So it's kind of like, is it time to pull it out now? And everybody's like, no, it's going to be 8 months or whatever, a year. I'm
next
like,
year,
oh
maybe.
My God, I should have planted so many more, right?
But you still can.
But the lesson in that is that I just love the idea of just learning how to do that and also understand it. What's required with that is patience, and there's so many other things that are required with it. So anyway, that's what kind of brought. I've been thinking a lot about these things, about taking actions and making sure that those actions are in support of the goal at every moment. And when they're not, being aware that it's not, it's okay. You just have to understand that, okay, that didn't, I know I'm not doing something that's supporting that cause, and make a different choice next time.
Or hopefully it's not detracting from the cause.
Right.
It could just be not addressing the cause one way or another. It could be sort of neutral.
It could be neutral, or it could be actively. You hear our dog in the background. Sorry, they've kind of started going back and forth with a little volley. So I think at this point we will probably end it, because I don't think we want to have the dogs barking in the background.
Anyway, we'll see you soon. We're going to go manage the situation here.
And thanks for listening. And don't forget, the law of action is just as important as the law of attraction. Bring that, think about it, do something, and make sure it's in support of the greater good and the higher purpose.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.